Hey, Jim Parquet here with VPX Baseball, and today we're going to start lesson 1 on how to command your arm side fastball or arm side pitches, right? I'm left-handed, so for me it would be outside to a righty. For all you righties, right, all you non-athletes as we call you, you're going to go inside to a righty or outside to the lefty, okay? But it's arm side, right? Most of the time as pitchers, we make most of our mistakes arm side wide, meaning I'm leaving the ball, again, I'm left-handed. I'm leaving the ball on that outside half when I'm trying to throw inside, or I'm trying to hit outside, right? And I'm leaving it out wide or actually high. More times than not, you'll probably miss arm side high, right? So I'm kind of go over all of the components that get you to be able to command that arm side fastball or arm side zone, to where if you are going in, you're going to miss in more, and if you're going away, you're going to hit your spot and not really keep leaving the ball outside or up, right? When you get higher in the levels, you'll find out if you have the ability to pitch those levels, or you are actually given an opportunity to do that, you're going to find that missing arm side or missing high kind of correlate to the same issues that you'll have within your delivery, all right? So the first thing is, you need to check out all of our other videos and courses and lessons on all of your delivery components so you can understand the terminology and what we're talking about, and then go from there, right? So I'm just gonna start real quick here. My loadout and my setup, right? Those are the most important aspects to making sure it gives me a good opportunity to be able to be effective on either arm side or opposite arm side, but we're talking about arm side here, to where I'm in this position where I land loaded into my front foot strike, and then therefore it gives me a good position and a good opportunity to keep my support underneath my throwing shoulder. After you throw this pearl for a lot of times, and you just keep competing with it, getting your innings in basically, as we call it, you're gonna learn kind of where your release point is here. Release point is for opposite arm side curveball, when it feels bad, when it feels good, all of those different things. And you don't learn that by watching video. You learn that just by getting this pearl and throwing it. Throwing it to a wall, throwing it to a partner, throwing it in a game, throwing it BP, whatever. Just flipping it like this, right? Just getting the baseball in your hand so you can feel what it does and how to manipulate it and all of the different leverage changes. You'll find as time goes on, and science proves it, the guy who keeps support longer with him, whether it's here, during the middle of his loadout, or actually into foot strike and rotation, where I'm actually going to get to release, if my support, right, my support leaves me where it's leaving me, and I get top heavy, or it leaves me too early and I don't have support here, I have to do too much to be successful, because we're artists, right? Pitchers are artists. We have to paint, basically, okay? So support has to be underneath you. Not you personally, but underneath your throwing shoulder. That's where we call support. So when your support leaves your throwing shoulder, you got to do too much. Can you execute? Yeah, but your execution rate goes too far down, and then that's when we start missing, okay? So let's look at how these things work. Let's start from forward and work backwards. If I've got support down here, bam, okay? I can manipulate, just like a hitter manipulates his barrel to the ball, or me as a pitcher, I'm manipulating my fingers to the catching target or to whatever place I want to spot the ball, right? Boom, I have opportunity to do that. When support leaves me, which my hits are gonna leave me, so now I'm top heavy, okay? Now what happens is I've got a shorter range of motion here, because this is not realistic. It's gonna be, this is my working range of motion now, and realistically, that's gonna be lower in the dirt. So what do I have to do? I've got, my body feels that, so I have to pull off, and you're seeing, if my support leaves me, my hips are behind me, I'm down, right? I'm down, but I got top heavy, boom. Now I've just got this range of motion, so I know that ball's just gonna go right into the dirt. So what do? I lengthen it by getting opposite plane, which would be here. And you see how my arm moves, right? And you see guys who get really flat, It's because they get out too much and they rush and they get top heavy, okay? So when they're doing this, boom, it's like this, and then I don't know where to go, and then basically I can't command properly, because once I get sideways, people, now I've got to kind of choose where I'm going to go, inside or outside. But if I'm drawing a straight line with support underneath me, drawing a straight line outside, inside, I'm going to be more effective, right? I personally think the arm side is much easier to hit than opposite, because opposite, obviously, you got to come across just a little, plus you got to stay closed longer because your arm has longer to get to there. That's a longer reach. It's kind of like an outside pitch to a hitter, or an inside pitch. It's harder to hit that inside because it's a longer path. You got to prepare more, okay? So if we now know the definition of support and how it affects us if we get top heavy, if we get premature and our support leaves us, right, it's pulling this way and leaving my shoulder, that flattens me, and it's the same thing. I've got to find my command this way, and now I'm basically guessing. Again, the more linear I can be, the better I'm going to be, okay? So how do I ensure that my support is down here? It's really simple. You just stay over your back hip as long as you can. Then what that does is it gives me the support when I land to be able to be right here and manipulate, okay? So check out our other videos on this. We go over all of the different components to making sure you ride your back hip into foot strike, and you're creating this action. See how it's pulling me up and propping me up? So then obviously the energy goes and supports my shoulder. Boom, that's the good action right there, okay? Compared to bad action, right? Slope is overtaking me. I can't command the slope and stay on top of the slope. It's making me fall, it's too steep. Or I get sideways because I'm trying to compete and I whip, right? And I leave this back here and I whip, and then basically all of these create drag arm, and you're not gonna be very good, okay? So when I go into this, here's the next portion. We got support. We got all the components that create the support. Now it's my shoulders, okay? If I'm going arm side, I wanna make sure on my shoulders that I'm working more this way. I'm working more this way rather than this way, because the energy is gonna come up, and if I'm too sideways or I'm prematurely sideways, then again, I'm pulling, or I have to choose. I gotta flip a coin and try to find where it is this way, compared to up, down. Now, you don't have to be up and then all the way, that's not what I'm saying, but the more that my front shoulder can work like this, rather than this, the better opportunity I'm gonna have, right? Especially for arm side, okay? Here's one of the things that people don't understand. This glove here is probably, I don't know, about 3 pounds. If you put too much shaving cream, or you're trying to make it too, it's your conditioners and it's wet, right? A lot of guys do that. It might weigh more. Bigger glove weigh more, on goes the story. Whatever the case is, think about this. If I'm throwing this, because pitchers don't keep it stationary and just go. This thing moves, right? We move with it. And I'm on slope. Think about this. I have movement and energy, plus I have slope that I'm moving, plus I'm driving. Those three things combined turn this little 2 or 3 pound weight into something. Think about a rock that's 2 pounds, and you throw that. You just drop it on someone, boom, or you take it and you throw it. Imagine how much force that creates, how much it pulls you as a pitcher. Watch good pitchers. Do you see them like this? They're not like that, because they're not going to be a good pitcher, because you can't command that. It pulls everything, and then you're done. You see good pitchers, they're like right here. It kind of stops, because the idea is that action right there. It's not a pullback, it's that you come up and hold it, and then your body gets to it, and then it goes right here. Like me, I was really big on keeping my glove this way more towards third base, so it locked me in so I couldn't get, because if I'm here, I can open, right? And then that gives me problems with trying to hit that outside and be an effective arm side, right? The more that I could get locked here, right? Here, I can't go compared to there. And that helped me. So one of my things was when I come out, I would really push that right there, which would give me the elevated shoulder. And I try to take the top of my elbow and point it right into the catcher's glove and just keep it going into the catcher's glove. And the longer I could do that, the more linear I was, the better hip to shoulder separation I would create, right? And the better opportunity I could combat the slow, because it was an opposite reaction. Boom, right? And it keeps me centered with balanced force, right? That was me. But I can tell you that good pitchers don't let this move too much. They limit it. A lot of guys will stay kind of about knee. That's what we always talk about. Keep it to about your knee. And then boom, there it goes. So that's the timing. Boom, right? This is a counterweight, everybody, and it highly affects your ability to command and be an artist down there, right? And we know a MLB pitcher, right, like myself, I'd probably hit my spots on a good day 6 out of 10 times, somewhere in that range. Those other 4, I'm just hoping I'm in the neighborhood that's not over the plate, or I'm in the neighborhood that's down, right? So you always hear good pitchers miss down. The reason why we miss down is not because we're like going to try to do that. It's because we're optimizing our delivery by doing the things properly that not only get our pitch there, but also ensure that if we do make a mistake or when we make a mistake, we're still got enough support and enough linear movement or alignment that we'll be able to be somewhere in that neighborhood, right? When you start missing too big, more times than not, it misses right over the plate and you sometimes don't get that ball back. When you start missing smaller, you have a better opportunity to be successful, right? So hopefully you like this video. In review, it's all about support. Let's work from the main event, which is your release point, backwards. So we want to make sure that we are supported right here and we are having this action so that your support stays with your shoulder, not yourself, with your shoulder. Don't leave it. How do you leave it? By getting top heavy, then it gets here or here. You limit your range of motion to be effective. Therefore, you have to get sideways and flatten, or you prematurely rotate and you jump at him, and then you're sideways. Both of those will decrease your ability to command that arm side pitch, which is a very important pitch for us pitchers, right? Especially for a lefty, because I threw a sinker, and man, when I'd stay on that outside and throw that chainsaw on that outside half right there and let it ride all day long, man, that's a real hard pitch for a righty to stay on, because he sees it middle, and then he's gonna probably pull off a little, and that's why I was a ground ball pitcher. For a righty moving, throwing chainsaws in, or just pounding that inside, that's still hard because a guy has to go from its longest swing path compared to this path, right? So we do that by having good support down, okay? The second thing is making sure that this weight doesn't command us. We command it, boom, right here. I would say start just like this, okay? These guys right here, man, not saying you can't pitch like that, but dude, that's just like, let's get wide, okay? And then the last portion is we're doing all the things right in our hip and whatever to make sure we keep our alignment to where we want to go. The longer we can stay aligned, the longer and more time it gives our arm to be able to get prepared in order to execute, okay? Hopefully you like this video. Check out our other ones. Give us a like, and we got a full line of products to get you to the big leagues.